Yeah. See the moonlight flick when I'm cruising through dimension shifts, huh? Hey yo, crank the volume! We elevated frequencies tonight! Yo. Moonlight dripping off the dashboard glass, flash fast, I'm a phantom in the digital mass. Every vision in rotation like a vinyl of Mars. Every bar of constellation, I'm aligning my scars. Meditation, mutate, service burning the matrix. Shadow on my shoulder, say patience ain't basic. He said life's a rumor till your pupils embrace it. Now I'm facing revelations in a beautiful basin. City full of sirens, innocent of salvation. Angel investors on heavenly probation. Love be the currency, hate be inflation. Soul be the stock and divine valuation. Vibration that is stream, got co-modulation. Frequency bleed through the speaker in rotation. Feeling every echo like a spirit simulation. Trying to find peace in the glitch of creation. Now I'm swimming through the static, cinematic in the attic. Automatic thought patterns, quantumatic, problematic. Every atom that I rap and it react like magic. Turn the mortal minds panic, the galactic graphic. I don't wanna lose my soul to survive. They told me chase the gold, I'm chasing time. Cause heaven ain't a place, it's a frequency climb. Pure state of mind, redefine the divine. Breathe, rewind, go. Latex from the universe, say wake up soldier. I reply with a verse that could bend a boulder. My aura been colder, coated in exposure. Holy water drip through the ice on my shoulder. Design the reflections, that facade collection. Every scar a confession, I'm the prophet of regression. Streaming my perception through a data compression. Every session of resurrection, no discretion. I'm the algorithmic archangel, arc fatal. Shark cradle, rocking bars in a dark fable. Heart cable, sparking, chart unstable. Mark label, shockwave, large and fatal. I've been scrolling through the scripture like a hacker with a halo. By trade, faith flow, breaking in the payload. Pain beat it to the joy be payroll. Life's a Rubik's Cube loop with a halo. Now I'm flipping through dimensions like a DJ scratch. Every memory I mention, ice my patch. Got code in my veins, binary attach. Reboot my brain when the rhythm dispatch. Breaking the concrete, thunder in the speakers. Lion heart chain, break the chains of the reapers. Divide us with delusion, confuse the believers. But the pulse of the people still pound through the meters. Babylon fall when the bass line rumble. Drums talk truth that the false gods fumble. Heartbeat quake, systems crumble. Freedom's a flame in the world, just a jungle. I don't wanna lose my soul to survive. No. I just need that truth to stay alive. They don't make my shades go, but I'm breaking that bind. Cause heaven's in the reverb of a pure state of mind. If I fade, don't you dare mourn me. Rebirth adorn me. Sample my storm speech. Reform me and form free. Spirit is a waveform, transform normally. I'm the echo of eternity, conforming formally. We ain't broken, we binary reborn. Every dawn and distortion reborn. Bah!
Oh, brother. We are back at it again, Daniel, with another episode of the Kohrs Show, where we're maybe together as a Goonie trading team going to get in some high-quality live day trades. Today is a beautiful Thursday, January the 8th, and I guess we are just maybe one day away from the weekend eve, so I hope you are having a good one. Yesterday, some interesting price action, pop, 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 drop, drop, drop. So maybe you caught both of them, maybe you caught one of them, whatever it is. I hope you made a buttload of money, but that's water under the bridge because we are focusing on the now. New Year's resolution, we are living in the present, which means we need to focus on what in the world is happening today. And the first thing you should be focusing on for today is smashing that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on those notifications. That should be your first focus as you're having a little bit of cup of Java this morning. So other than that, and obviously, I appreciate you and your effort getting this show and this community out to more people. Myself and the team truly, truly appreciate it. And because of that, I'm going to do my side of the bargain here and get you guys ready for the day. So we're going to kick it off by looking at like kind of the larger view. Yes, we have some updates on Venezuela. We have some updates on Greenland. We have some updates on Minnesota. There was a crazy story yesterday. I'm sure you guys saw that. And then we're going to dive into some of the major macroeconomic events of the day. We got initial jobless claims at 8:30, so we're going to be diving into that, prepping you up for the major stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow's the big macroeconomic data drop of the day, or really of the week, I should say. But for tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, average hourly earnings. So we will be starting early tomorrow because that's going to have a huge impact on the FOMC meeting. That's at the end of January. So that's going to be the big day of the week. So yes, we have some stuff today, but more so we got to focus on that tomorrow. And then I want to get into some individual news. There was some breaking news on Nvidia yesterday that didn't so much help the market. We had some commentary from Trump related to the military spending. At first it was bad, related to no dividends, and then it was good for increasing our military spending to the tune of 70%. We have a little bit of China drama going on, and then from there I'll give you some seasonality, and if there's enough time, maybe we could talk a little bit of a recent story. That's my recent fascination. What's going on with the Somali daycares and that fraud, because I guess the Senate is going to be having a bit of a hearing on that today. So basically my question to you is, do you guys want to stream it? Just yesterday, the House, maybe Judiciary Committee, one of the House committees, they did their round of it, and then today's the Senate. I didn't even realize it was happening. I watched some of the highlights of it, the House committee yesterday, and there were nothing but fireworks. Today, there's another one, this one for the Senate, and I figure maybe that's a little bit more interesting than a market update. So it's 100% on you guys. If you guys want me this afternoon to stream the Senate committee grilling everyone involved in this fraud and these huge allegations of fraud in Minnesota, we could stream it. Once again, it's this afternoon. Or if you'd rather the normal update video, it's all on you. I'm happy to do either. I'm happy to do both. I'm happy to hang out with my cat Piper. It's up to you guys. You guys are the one running the community. I'm just the model on this side of the camera. So keep that in mind. I will remind you guys about it a little bit closer to market open. Like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. And with that being said, let me do my job. Stock futures fall with the Dow and S&P 500 set to pull back further from record highs. Yes. Just yesterday, we hit a record high in the S&P 500. 6965 is the record high. And whenever this happens, it blows my mind. We tagged a record high. We had a little bit of a red day, and we ended up dropping 0.3%. I'm not saying 3%. I'm saying 0.3%. And everyone seemingly loses their mind. They're like, this is so incredible. It's not just bearish in their minds. Like it doesn't take long to go on mainstream media, to go on social media. I was even watching some other people's update videos and like, this is so incredibly bearish. Folks, someone needs to explain this to me, and I don't mean it rhetorically. How in the world can it be bearish when we're at a record high? Like, aren't those literally polar opposite things to say, we've hit a new high, as in a level the market has never been at before, the best that the bulls have ever been. And people are like, that's just so bearish. That is so incredibly bearish. Now, of course, I'll be the first one to admit that there's a non-zero chance this is the high, and theoretically we could just sell. But once again, you can only be basing this stuff based on the current information you have. And the current information we have is we hit a record high. The options market is still relatively strong, and we're going into non-farm payrolls this Friday and OPEX next Friday. So with all of that, just like these binary events, like once again, it's one thing to attempt to predict where things are going, but in terms of reaction, we have to really be basing our thoughts and our opinions and our real plays on the information we have, like the things we can currently measure. And what we can measure is the fact that the market has higher highs and higher lows. That is strong bullish price structure. We have strong momentum. Not only is price above all the EMAs, we hit a record high. And then, of course, when you look over at the option structure, you're going to quickly realize that we're getting more positive gamma. There's good structure. And really, if we hold 6,900, there's probably nothing to be concerned about at all. I just don't understand it, because sometimes it's like this almost emotional rage baiting. But how in the world could anyone, seriously, how in the world could anyone think that it is bearish when we hit a record high? Like, someone needs to explain that to me beyond the fact that it's just, I guess, in a certain sense, rage bait. But anyway, yes, we hit a record high in the S&P 500. We did not do that in the NASDAQ, even though it is relatively close. Bitcoin is still getting beat up, but it's showing some signs of strength. So I'll be returning to all that. But in terms of some of the bigger picture stuff, Trump team works up sweeping plan to control Venezuelan oil for years to come. President believes the effort could lower oil prices to his target of $50 a barrel. For those of you who maybe missed the show yesterday, One of the most recent updates in this is that basically we're taking billions of dollars of oil away from Venezuela, and we're still kind of in control of the country. It's like kind of in this awkward in between now. I'm sure we're going to be getting more updates of it every single day, every single week, and then eventually things will calm down and we're going to move on to the next big story. But for right now, this clearly does have impacts in the world of energy. Natural gas definitely taking a hit, oil slightly taking a hit, individual companies seemingly doing well, especially the ones that kind of previously already had their roots in Venezuela. So definitely something to pay attention to on the energy sector. And I know it's not necessarily the major focus of this channel, of this show. I don't believe many people within chat have the most interest in the world of trading bonds. But if you get a little bit bored today, let's say you lock in your gains early on and you just want to learn something about the market, it might be a worthwhile search to see what's going on in the world of Venezuelan bonds, because Wall Street is sweeping in. They're loving the upside potential right now of Venezuela, and bonds are being bought like no other. And really, their equivalent of the market is also spiking. So interesting things just from I guess a point of I guess me being didactic, you know, putting on that teaching cap, maybe something interesting for you guys to look into. Trump opens new front against China with brazen arrests of Maduro. Remember, none of this stuff lives in a vacuum. Right before this, I should say, going into our capture of President Maduro of Venezuela, about 5% of the oil that China has was being purchased from Venezuela. So it's not an astounding amount, but it's an amount that you have to consider. And there's always going to be ripple effects, the butterfly effect, the snowball effect, whatever effect you want to call it. But none of this lives in a vacuum. And it's going to be interesting as does the rest of the world just let this happen and nothing else is not retaliation isn't quite the right word, but do other countries decide to make new moves and decisions because of what we did? Or is everyone just going to run, I guess, the show as normal? The American leaders move to strong-arm Venezuela, threatens to open up new flashpoints between the U.S. and China. One of the major ones being called out is this going to be the opening for China just to go right into Taiwan? Obviously, maybe not. With the craziness of this story, I've kind of learned maybe it's silly for us to not even, like, what's the point in predicting? Because right now, our version of the simulation is absolutely wild, but obviously just something to pay attention to. Venezuela says 100 killed in U.S. military operation that captured Maduro. So this is one of the big questions that happened ever since Saturday morning. That's when we captured Maduro, was a lot of people saying, okay, like, how many people actually lost lives in this? Well, according to Venezuela, they are saying 100. So for any of you like myself who are just kind of curious about what's going on here, according to the Venezuela Interior Minister, said more than 100 people were killed in the U.S. raid. The Pentagon said 7 U.S. troops were injured in the Venezuela operation. 5 have recovered. So just to give you some numbers, just for us to be all a little bit more informed. Switching gears a little bit, Trump's team races to come up with a Greenland takeover plan. Here's what's at stake. So as much as this is a joke, it's actually a very serious thing. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said that he intends to convene with Danish officials next week to discuss Greenland. So at this point, Marco Rubio is running many countries as the U.S. Secretary of State. In fact, I saw one of the funniest memes ever. I should have shaved it to share it with all of you, but it was basically along the lines of the next president should be Marco Rubio just so we can limit his power, which obviously it's a joke, but in a certain sense, he really is kind of running multiple countries right now, which is a little funny. But anyway, it comes amid growing concerns across Europe about President Donald Trump's renewed threats to make the world's biggest island part of the United States. CNBC takes a look at some of the key issues ahead of the meeting. So Marco Rubio this upcoming week is going to go there and is going to say, listen, folks, we are NATO. We are the United Nations. We pay everyone's bill. What in the world is Denmark doing within control? We are here, like, we are the big protectors of NATO, and we're arguing that this is a big security threat, so we need to be more in control so we can properly provide security. Remember, Greenland, technically it is autonomous, but it's still also technically owned by Denmark. So this isn't one of those things that Greenland's just kind of doing its own thing. In a certain sense, it kind of is, but also technically it's flying these Danish flags. So things to consider. And I know the hubbub right now is, oh, they're not ruling out military invention, and that's just the big mainstream media thing. I strongly believe it's not going to go into the world of military invention. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I think it's very, very low odds. If anything, there's about 50,000 people there. As I kind of joked around yesterday, the more I thought about it, I was kind of serious. I was like, we could just buy them all off. You could be like, hey, vote to become an American, vote to become an territory. We'll give all of you individually $5,000. There's only 48,000 of them. There's more Medicare fraud going on in Somali daycare centers than that would even cost us. So I think, and you could watch the poly market on it. In fact, you know what? We should check that out. I haven't seen the odds lately of what's going on with Greenland. Let's see. Let's see what the world, is there anything? Yes. Will Trump acquire Greenland before 2027? As of now, 15% chance. So recently it was 6%. So we are spiking up. So still not that likely. About a 1 in 6 chance, about 15%, but it is on the uptick. So something interesting to pay attention to. The other big news of yesterday was actually some sad news. ICE agents fatally shoot woman in Minneapolis. I'm sure this is not new news to many of you. I'm just covering it because it kind of relates to Minneapolis and it relates to the tensions going on. And you never know if things boil over in terms of just how big tensions can get and what that's going to do. So I just want to cover it very, very quickly. You guys have probably seen the video. If not, you've probably heard of it. The video was all over the internet, all over Twitter yesterday. So I'm sure many of you have watched it from many different angles. To me, I'm not saying anyone is right or wrong. I'm just saying how incredibly sad is it that we are at this point in a country where tensions are so horrifically bad, where politics are so incredibly divisive that this type of stuff happens. You'd hope that just logic and empathy prevail in one way or another, but right now it seems like the polarization is not good, and it seems as if we are trending in clearly the wrong direction. And the fact that it's also happening in Minneapolis, based on all the recent stories, it's just making things that much worse. On that particular note, this is the time that I wanted to remind you, Somali scammers fighting fraud in Minnesota and beyond. Today, no, this is not the right link. So this one is obviously way out. This is January 28th. There was Mr. Producer. If you can find one, I'm pretty sure the Senate committee will be meeting on this. I clicked on the wrong link. I was on their calendar today. So just yesterday, there was a House committee looking into the fraud of the situation, and there were a lot of fireworks. So Mr. Producer, if you're listening right now, if you could see if the Senate is doing it, generally it goes House one day, Senate the next day. If you could see anything for today, January the 8th, or if anyone in chat has that link or something, that would be kind of interesting, because like I said at the start of today's show, I watched this morning some of the highlights from yesterday, and they were wild. People screaming, yelling, this, that, the other thing. So I obviously may have messed up there, but I'm pretty sure that the Senate's going to be doing something today. So if anyone in chat knows anything about it, if you guys can have a link or tell us where to find it, maybe that's something interesting for us to tune into today. But other than that, returning exactly to the market, this morning was the only major macroeconomic event. Initial jobless claims, they expected 213, came in at 28, pretty much at expectation. And everyone is waiting for tomorrow when we get non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, and average hourly earnings. That's an hour before the market opens. So we will be streaming early tomorrow. Also in the world of, I guess, tomorrow, not only are we getting non-farm payrolls and all that good stuff, tomorrow we're expected to be getting the update from the Supreme Court on Trump tariffs, as in, are they legal? Are they not illegal? We will be finding out, allegedly, that we are getting an update on what's going on here. More than 1,000 companies are suing Trump over his tariffs. Companies are flocking to challenge the administration's import taxes in court after the Supreme Court started asking tough questions. So we're supposed to start to get some answers tomorrow. So that's just another thing I want to put on your radar. Trump says he will not permit dividends and stock buybacks for defense companies. Now, you might have been watching Lockheed Martin. Boeing, maybe even a little bit of Palantir. But all these defense-related companies in the afternoon yesterday kind of took a hit. It was around 2:30 that whole sector took a pretty serious hit. Once again, LMT, BA, PLTR, and the list goes on and on and on. And then all of a sudden, after the market closed, they all spiked. Defense stocks surge after Trump calls for a $1.5 trillion military budget in 2027, which the last time I checked it is about a 70% increase. So at first, because they're waiting for things to get fixed, they don't want to do dividends and stock buybacks. But then because of the increase in spending, they popped anyway. So I know this is a particular subsector, and it's not like Lockheed Martin is the most exciting thing to trade, but just to cover a little bit of what's going on there. The other big news of yesterday, around 10:40 in the morning, we were all on stream watching this together. China asked tech companies to halt NVIDIA H200 chip orders, according to the information. And then right away, it was apparently disproven. China to improve NVIDIA H200 buying as soon as this quarter. So once again, news that has a very measurable impact that ends up just becoming a straight up lie, apparently.
China is moving closer to approving imports of NVIDIA's H200 chips. It's about national security, it's about defense. China is the world's largest semiconductor market, of course, and renewed access could support expectations that NVIDIA's growth trajectory can be sustained. Really significant developments then. Let's bring in Debbie Wu, Bloomberg's tech editor in Taipei. Debbie, what do we know about this approval?
So China will approve some purchases of NVIDIA's 200 chips as soon as first quarter, so the current quarter. And then this is for the select commercial use by private sector companies. And at the same time, though, because of national security concerns and also China's own self-sufficiency drive, the NVIDIA's H200 chips will not be allowed in critical infrastructure for the military or for sensitive government agencies in principle. And if these organizations, units, they want to still want to use NVIDIA's chips after Beijing approved the purchases of those chips, they will have to apply for approval, and these will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis.
Yes. Okay, so we watch that closely for many reasons, Debbie. Sticking with the tech sector, but in memory chips, Samsung posting really impressive numbers because of this big hike that we've seen in pricing of memory chips.
Right. So Samsung's pretty good initial results indicate that the overall AI demand or for AI build-out remains quite resilient, or even, should I say, quite strong. And then its peers, SK Hynix and then Micron, actually both have indicated they have sold out more or less their entire offerings for this year, so 2026. And then Samsung's result again reinforced the indicator that overall AI demand remain quite strong.
All right, shut up. Dude, shut up. You're fucking with me. You get the idea. News was reported, then the opposite news was reported, and I guess I don't have to shut up. Also in China, Meta faces China probe over acquisition of AI agent startup Manus. So Manus last month, as the U.S. tech giant looks to integrate advanced automation. This was kind of used in the world of like data analytics. I actually use Manus, and then I got a notice from them that they're being sold to Meta, but apparently China will be looking into it. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, macros.locals.com. It's in the description of the video. Very helpful. It's 100% free. Comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events in earnings season. I also give you kind of like just that short list of the major earnings. And then I give you the seasonality of each trading day, which brings us to today, Thursday, January the 8th. Over the past 27 years worth of information, the bulls have won this day 61% of the time. So they have an 11% edge. The profit factor is a nice 2, and obviously the bias is bullish. Here's a look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought at open, sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market on this individual day. About 30 years ago, it was good. For a long period, it was nothing. And then for about the past 10-ish years, it has clearly had a bullish bias. So is this the end all be all? No, I'm giving you the odds. I'm giving you the time frame. If you look in a shorter time frame, it's actually even stronger. But once again, that's just this time frame right here. And also to give you an idea just for tomorrow, it's leaning bearish for a lot of the time. Tomorrow was just perfectly neutral. But then in the last year or two, it's actually taken a pretty considerable hit. So just wanted to share that with all of you. Once again, 100% free. It's in the description of the video. And then that brings us to today. So for those of you who are trying to rip it today, this is what we are paying attention to. The first thing my eyes are drawn to is this gigantic positive gamma node at 6925. Mark that on your chart. Incredibly important. It's a slight overshoot of our closing value from yesterday. Positive gamma node, that's basically, remember, that's going to be net selling of options. From there, a little bit closer to where we are exactly at this moment is actually a negative gamma node. Now, those are direct bets, and you'd have to look at if they're calls or puts, but right here, 6915, and then obviously below that, 6,900. So out of the gate, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the area where we're opening, which is a big negative gamma node. I'm looking at kind of this spread situation, which is also a psychological level. And then my first bullish target out of the gate would be 6925. Now, a break and a hold of that, because, hey, it could happen. We're going to NFP tomorrow. We have bullish seasonality today. Then we have a patch of negative gamma where that could actually be a nice explosive move all the way back up to pretty much yesterday's high at 6,960. So pay attention to this negative gamma patch. That would be basically a godsend for the bull camp. The big breakout is at 6,925, pretty much the closing value from yesterday. It was like 6,920. Watching how it dances around 115, and then obviously support at 900. If the 900 support doesn't hold, there is additional support a little bit closer by at 6885, and then from there we're talking about maybe a sell-off to like 860 or 50 or something like that. I don't think that that's most likely. My bias remains bullish as long as we are confidently holding above 6,900. It's one thing if we slightly dip below it, but I'm not really even going to be considering changing my bias unless we dip and hold below 6,900. But the thing that interests me today, like a perfect play of the day, and of course, I don't know if this is going to happen or not, I want to see us get up, tag 25, take a small rejection, put in a higher low, bounce above that, and then rip through all of this negative gamma. I would say that's my major game plan one for the day. Now, of course, I always mark out the previous high, low, and close. That is the green, the red, and the white line. The white box is the transition zone, bullish above, bearish below, and choppy within. And then obviously these yellow lines are all the major levels where we see most of that big player money. And it's useful to mark those out because that's where you're most likely going to see quite a few rejections. So as always, feel free to write these down. Feel free to screenshot these. Do whatever you want with them. Maybe you like them, maybe you don't, but I'm just letting you know these are the key levels I'm paying attention to today. Heading into today, right now, the 5-minute is attempting to hold bullish. The 10-minute is bullish. The 30-minute on the S&P 500 is bearish. I'm looking for that push. You need it above basically 961, and the 4 hours also trying to hold bullish. So a little bit mismatched in terms of momentum, but definitely favoring the bulls. Looking at the NASDAQ, similar situation. 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish. 30-minute, as we're talking, is attempting to break out right now, and the 4 hour is trying to hold bullish. So I would say this is neutral, leaning heavily bullish, but not quite in the bullish territory, because I want to see this 30-minute on ES and on NQ confidently get back over to the bullish side. Of course, when the market opens, we're going to be tracking the options flow to see what's going on with the delta movement in the Mag 7, the S&P 500. I'm also more than happy to track whatever individual equities you guys are interested in today. We're going to see how the options structure, the gamma structure changes, but I'm really, really interested in this negative gamma up there because remember, negative gamma is not bullish or bearish. It is slippery price action. Since we're going into negative gamma from the south, that means we could get that nice push to the upside. So something to be, I guess, mindful of, but also there's a clear resistance we have to break. So that's what I'll be watching right out of the gate. With respect to the events of the day, we don't really have any major macroeconomic events. We did have one at 8:30, the initial jobless claims. Other than that, we are waiting for tomorrow for unemployment rate, non-farm payrolls, and also any updates from the Supreme Court related to the Trump tariffs. On that note, let me get in here. Dude, fuck Apple, dude. Apple's costing me a couple $1,000s right now. I have some put credit spreads on Apple, and it is doing nothing but nosediving. I feel like every quarter I end up trading Apple, and then I tell myself I'm never trading Apple again, and then I forget about it. And honestly, it's getting to the point of becoming an abusive relationship, if I'm being completely honest. I forget about it. I forget that it abuses me. I give it another shot, and then it costs me money. Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Just to show you, I've been a good boy. I wasn't trading early today. I have my 20 Apex accounts. I have 3 FFN accounts. And I kind of think of my Apex accounts in 2 different tranches because I have the quote unquote big 15. And when I say big, it just means they have more buffer. They're all looking pretty good. Had a good day. Made about 1.6K on all of these yesterday. And then on the 5 smaller ones, as in they have smaller buffer, I made about 1,000. So they're looking good. And on the FFN, I just passed the eval stage. So now we're going over to the performance stage. So successfully passed one, onto the next stage, and we're seeing what we can do over there. So thus far today, I mean, I haven't done anything. I didn't break any rules. So I just wanted to show you that where we're at. I want to make sure that my trade copier is set up as it should be. Yes, yes, yes. We are looking good. And other than that, calm, cool, collected. Let's see how things want to play out this morning. Let me do a quick reload over here so we can see the options flow. Remember, the more time that passes, the more data we're going to have. I wouldn't put too much weight on the first minute or 2 of movement. And also remember, the best sim to funded deals right now are Take Profit Trader. Use code Goonie to get 40% off and never pay an activation fee. And on Funded Futures Network, use code Goonie to get 50% off, buy one, get one, and no activation fee. So right now, those are the 2 best deals out of the firms that I trust. You can use the links if you want. They're in the description of the video. My mod will put them in chat, or you can just go to the websites and apply that code Goonie, and you're going to get whatever the best deal is. Tesla, I'm getting an alert of breaking down. Tesla, whoa, why did I draw this where I drew it? Okay, 422. So Tesla kind of going the way of Apple right now, where it's just getting its teeth kicked in, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Let me draw an alert. There is an upside gap fill on Apple, but I need it to get that and do better. I need it like all the way back up at 268. So that one's kicking my teeth in. So Tesla not having the best start to the day. Google gapped up to a new all-time high, officially passing Apple in market cap yesterday. It's the first time that it's done it since 2019. Quickly selling off. You have some profit taking there. But yes, Google hitting an all-time high. Nvidia going sideways, not doing anything. Microsoft kind of going sideways, maybe a little bit of a bullish skew. Amazon continuing its trip to the upside. Apple sucking ass. Palantir actually looking pretty good in my opinion. I would love to see it take out 187.28. Meta getting hit maybe because of that China probe stuff. But let's see how bad this either does or doesn't get. Avago slightly going down. AMD slightly going down. ASML, I believe that's an all-time high. This is another play within the AI space. I loaded this up in my long-term investment account at 750, 780, and now it's trading at 1,200. Probably one of my best investment plays of last year, at least as of now. Walmart somehow taking a hit. What the fuck's going on? Well, why is everything taking a hit this morning? Jesus. Let the kids play. Rumble's up. Netflix is taking a hit. Oracle's taking a hit. DJT's taking a hit. SoFi's taking a hit. Hood's taking a hit. MSTR is continuing to get brutalized. Coin is down. Hut is down. CoreWeave is up. Open is up, but I think this one's going to spectacularly fail. Dude, everything is getting rocked at the moment, folks. Oklo's trying to break out. Iron tried to break out, but potentially failed. Qubits is holding the breakout. IONQ's trying to break out. Golly. Bonds are down. 20-year bonds are down. TLT's just been bleeding off. Oil is actually up 2%. Small cap is up, not far from the all-time high. Gold taking a little bit of a breather, but not far from the all-time high. Silver taking more of a serious hit. If you're trading this in futures, Godspeed, because a little bit of a movement is a lot of money in silver, and silver is having a lot of movement, which means if you're right, you could be very, very right. But if you're wrong, you can be very, very wrong. So if you choose to trade silver, I suppose I wish you the best of luck. All right, out of the gate, we're obviously having a bit of selling going on right now. Like I said, we're in the transition zone. To me, this isn't necessarily bullish or bearish. I'm just kind of waiting. I know we have massive support at 6,900, and I know that big breakout level is 6,925, and we have a little bit of craziness at 6,915. So right here, there's three things to pay attention to. The breakout, the breakdown, and even the mid-level is kind of important. So for me, I'm just waiting till we get a little bit more clarity on the situation. Sorry, Piper was just freaking out. And by freaking out, I mean she probably found one of my chapsticks to fuck with, and she'll probably play with that for a little bit. Tesla bouncing back a little bit. I'm seeing them. There are some green plays. Actually, Palantir's the most green play, followed by Google right now. These are the most green ones on my watch list, but let's see how this plays out. Okay. Here's a look at options flow for those of you who care about the first 6 minutes worth of information. It is down. Well, the SPY was up, then down. The Mag 7 was straight down. I'm just wondering if it's going to be able to catch its footing, especially as we're coming up on this key level. This zone is important. I would not be surprised if we dip into it and then shoot up. Like I said, a perfect situation to me is we shoot up to 25, we pull back, put in a higher low, start to swing up. That's a good long opportunity, and then get to play it all the way up to 40, 50, 60, something like that. I have no idea if that's how it's going to play out today, but that would be like a play I'd be highly interested in taking advantage of today. A dip, a pop, a pullback, higher low, that's the long, and then riding it off of that. That's what I'm looking for. It'll more likely happen if the Mag 7 stops puking. Right now, people are just selling calls, which is telling me we're going down in the Mag 7 right now. Not because of bearishness. People aren't buying puts. They're selling calls. It's a lack of bullishness. And of course, a dropping delta is a dropping delta. Mathematically, it's the same thing. But in terms of sentiment, that tells me something important. Are we dropping because people are legit bearish, betting on it going down, or are we just having less bulls? And right now, based on the combination of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, that's what we are seeing. We are seeing calls being sold. We are not seeing puts being bought. People, it's a lack of bullishness right now. So in my eyes, that's more, it increases the potential of a turnaround. Now, is it a guarantee? No, there's no such thing as a guarantee in the market. Of course, we're just dealing in a world of odds and whatnot. But it looks like the SPY is going for the upside gap fill here. Yeah, we're about to target it. See how yesterday's low was 6,919 and we haven't touched it yet? There's a literal gap in the chart. Easy gap fill play. High odds that we hit that at some point today. Is it a guarantee? No, I actually do like that play. Once again, if you can get into it with reasonable risk, but 6,919, is it a guarantee we hit that today? No, but historically, based on how the S&P 500 performs, should we be hitting that today with pretty high odds? Yeah, at least at some point today. But remember, that doesn't mean now. It could come at 359, or it could have been at the first minute. Well, the Qs didn't even have an upside gap fill. But right there, we just double topped right before it. And actually, we got crazy close at 933 and still didn't tag it. So technically, there's still an upside gap fill in the S&P 500, which I do believe is another interesting play. I think we're just at the point of needing to be patient and wait to see how some of this stuff plays out. Let me delete that. Right here, the upside gap fill is hitting yesterday's low. Yesterday's low on SPX is 6919.20. On the SPY, that would be 689.32. This does not exist on the Qs at this moment in time. So that's another level you could watch, which is really honestly not that far away from. And even that's probably what these people are playing right here. this negative gamma, if we switch it over to no, they're not. Like, there are some long calls, but it's not the most impressive thing. But there's some negative gamma. There are some bets up there, but it's right. And then right above, you have people kind of putting in that ceiling. So patience, patience, patience. I don't have any live day trades on at the moment. Palantir is now taking a hit, a very clear hit. Amazon's popping. Tesla starting to recover. Google, not too much. Nvidia got hit. Hey, Matt, can you look at IWM, please? Yeah. IWM intraday chart actually looking really good. So this actually might be a rotation from large cap tech to small cap. IWM intraday looking very strong. And as I alluded to earlier in today's show, not far from that all-time high. Yes, there is this downside gap fill that I guess it doesn't care about at this moment in time, but this is strong. You have these higher highs, you have these higher lows. It touched the 50 EMA. We're bouncing off of it. We popped up, little profit taking. We're getting the follow through. It's not far from the all-time high. That would be my next watch. If the time to get in on this, though, just because I like it and it's bullish, that doesn't mean I would be playing it right now. The entry on this was on Friday the 2nd or on Monday the 5th. This is your entry and your risk is here, and then that's your target. So if you were to enter now, and I do believe with high odds this is going to keep going, but your reward is this and your risk is this distance. So from a risk reward perspective, it's not ideal. You should have been in here to minimize your risk, and you're optimizing your reward. So if you already have a bullish leaning position, great, ride it. But just because I fully admit this is, in my perception, looking very bullish, that doesn't mean I would be throwing on a position right now. AMC hit a new low? No way. Yes, it did. Wow, it's almost as if I was right when I told everyone that it was over and it was going to have a horrific downfall. So on the call out that it was going to squeeze and rip, I was right there. On the call out that it was done because it was going to be endless dilution and the whole, like, whatever, ape coin or whatever that bullshit was going to end it, looks like I was right there as well. So that is insane. Rocket Lab is ripping. Yeah, very bullish. Look at that double bottom right here. Pops up, pulls back. Your entry was right here on the 18th. This was the time to get in without knowing the additional information. It pops up, it pulls back, double bottom, pops up, pulls back. You're in at 57. You're risking 52. You never know where it's going to go, but you have minimal risk, and boom, you get to go. And at this point, you could probably put your stop at 67 and just ride it, ride it, ride it. So would I chase it now? No, it's at an all-time high. I don't want to be a buyer at an all-time high because you're maximizing your risk. But you had an opportunity to get in at 73. You had an opportunity to get in at 56. Of course, you're risking whatever the recent swing is because you always want to minimize your risk. And then you just hope that the trend persists in your favor. APLD. APLD, trying to get that technical breakout. Once again, your entry is here. Your entry is on this breakout at 26. I wouldn't be chasing here, but if you're in it, yeah, ride it. I don't know if it gets rejected here. I don't know if it follows through here, but I could tell you the entry was here, and you're either risking 23 or 22. You're risking one of these. Maybe if you really like it, you could have risked 19. But to be chasing at this level, it just doesn't seem smart. Was AMC sold to private equity a few years ago? I mean, there's private equity can invest, but it's not like they sold the whole company to private equity and took it private. There are private equity investors, but that's equivalent to you could be an investor. Like private equity could buy shares if they want. I could buy shares if I want. Anyone could buy shares. Anyone can sell shares. Like, to me, it's not like it went private. It's not like it left the public markets. Okay, did we hit 900? This is kind of what I'm watching for, is right here. This reaction. Key technical level, key psychological level, key options level. I'm looking at 6,900, which on the SPY is maybe equivalent to 6,870. I don't know, like 2550. It's like, it's slightly below. Oh, dude, NVIDIA's taking another hit. Feels like they've been demolished like it. Wait. You think private equity buying a company automatically demolishes it? You don't think it's more likely that it got demolished from a horrible business model, from endless dilution, and just the fact that no one really cares about going to the movie theater anymore? I would have a feeling that the latter examples are a better reason of why it went down rather than private equity buying a stake. Matt, can you share info on Icarus? What do you mean info on Icarus? I do. I have a channel that is pinned to the top of chat right now. Literally, it's pinned to the top of chat right here. This is where I just post like evergreen content, and I talk about Icarus all the time, especially ever on this current run of Apex. Denied, approved, denied again, 200,000, 30,000, a losing 202, up 209. This stuff all relates to Apex, which is where I'm trading Icarus. So you could start right here and watch these 7 videos, and you would learn pretty much everything you need to about Icarus. Matt, would you buy Cinemark stock? No, I'm not going to buy any movie theater stock, because why would I do that? In the universe of investments right now, you would be really, really hard pressed to explain why a movie theater chain is like a worthwhile investment. Like that, just like out of all the AI, crypto, energy, finance, just out of all the things going on right now, movie theaters have to be one of the most boring fucking things to possibly consider. So incredibly boring. I wouldn't. The only way I would take a share of those is if it was given to me for free, and even then I would just sell it and take whatever money I could. Has Matt taken any trades? Nope. I was waiting. I have a bullish bias right now, so I'm waiting to see if this bleeding will stop. And actually, it might be stopping right there. We just tagged 6,900. So who knows the next bar? But this is a fair entry. You can go long at 903.74. Let's just call it 904. You're risking 5 points. It's a 5-point risk. If you're trading ES, that's about $250 or whatever. You could trade SPX, SPY. But this is a very reasonable dip buy. And remember, assume you are right half the time and wrong half the time. The way this works is because if you are right, well, your risk was there. It pumps up. If it takes out 10 or 11, you can move your stop to break even, so there's no risk. So just right when you enter, that's your most risk, and it's minimal. If you're right, you get to ride it, and if you're wrong, you take a minimal hit. And like I said, on this pump right here, especially if it takes out a 911, 912, something like that, as it's about to do, I'd already move my stop to break even, and then it's a freebie trade. This is exactly what we were talking about. Literally calling this trade out in real time. I've had to do it. You waited for the tap. You waited for the reversal. You go long right on the start of the reversal. Your risk is here. On a pump exceeding these previous highs, you move your stop to break even. You're done. Worst case scenario, you're out for break even. Best case scenario, you catch the entire reversal. Like, we don't need to overcomplicate this. I am not promising you that this works every time. I'm saying it's going to work about 50% of the time. What I am saying is by the time it all nets out, you're going to have a very high positive expected value, because the half of the time that you're wrong, it's a minimal hit. And the half of the time that you're right, it actually could be a very nice gain. And in reality, there's going to be a large percentage in the middle where, oh, it kind of went up, but then it came down and maybe it vomits, but you got out for break even. So the stats are probably even better. So right there, that was a very reasonable trade, like without a doubt. If you took that, how many of you took that trade right there, somewhere between 945 and 947? How many of you went long either on the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, catching this bounce? Not only were we at 6,900, we were at the low from 2 days ago on the SPY and on the Q. So we had a technical level, we had a psychological level. You had an uptick in it was a good trade. That's a very good trade. It really, really is. I didn't take it just because I'm waiting a little bit more just to see how things play out. Like, things aren't fully aligning for Icarus to go. But if I were manually trading, yeah, that I would take that trade. Why not? It's a fair shot. Your stops break even, and if it works, it works. If not, whatever. You don't trade at open? No, I wait a little bit, or I try to, just to see what's going on. It's kind of dependent on the day. But today, I'm seeing a mismatch. The opening price action is negative when my bias is overall bullish. So if the opening price action was bullish and my bias is bullish, I'd probably be a little bit earlier. But right now, I'm waiting to see if we can have this recovery. Long 25,600 on that tap. Oh, wow. That's a great trade. You're already up 60 points. Holy cow, dude. That's a phenomenal trade. Good for you. That's sick. Are you targeting VWAP 737? You could be in at 600. Obviously, your stop should be at break even. What's the point of taking on risk? But I think an interesting target for you right now, VWAP is 737. So that's 137 points where you are right now. You could front run it, maybe 730, take out 130 points. That's awesome. I very much hope it works for you. That is a gnarly trade. That is a gnarly trade. Mag 7, Mag 7, Mag 7, Mag 7, dip, showing a little bit of life right now. SPY, vomited, flow alert, double top. Now we're bouncing. Looking right here, we're getting rejected at 15. Surprise, surprise. Where's this giant negative gamma node? 15. I'm kind of looking for this breakout at 25. 45 is new. What happened there? Okay, there's a new call credit spread in play. 45 spread by 50. It's not the biggest. It's about 2,000 contracts. But ever since market open, that is a new position. Once again, 45 spread by 50, which means that someone is basically saying, we're not going to close above this. They are betting on, hey, we might go up, but we're just not closing above that 45 value. So it does look like someone put on a call credit spread that was not there when market initially opened. So that is a relatively new play. Do I mainly trade ES or NQ? I trade NQ, and if I'm trading the S&P 500, I trade SPX. So I'll trade, if I'm trading the S&P 500, I'll most likely do that via options with SPX or SPY. And then if I'm trading futures, I'll trade NQ. Slightly different systems, and by slightly, I mean like greatly different systems. But I like them both. I have no issue with trading either. I just choose to kind of attack it. Like for me, I have a long-term investment portfolio that actually, I have one account that I just throw things into, and then I have another long-term investment portfolio that AI manages for me. So that's part of mine that I never really look at. Like I look at it once a quarter, once half a year. And then I have a swing account where I'm trading options. Right now I'm selling premium. I have another account where I sell 0 DTE premium, and that's mainly SPX because it's European style contracts. So there's no risk of early expiration or anything like that. And the cash settled. So there's some advantages there. And then I'll also day trade NQ, and I mainly do that with all my prop accounts. That's kind of, I guess. Oh, and I also have a long-term crypto portfolio. I never really actively trade crypto. I just have, I think it's all Bitcoin right now. So the way I have a long-term stock portfolio, I do have a long-term crypto portfolio, but it's literally just Bitcoin. And I just kind of sit on it. And it's another one. I think I check that one even less than I check my long-term stock portfolio. Any other questions now that we're doing a little, ooh, hang on. I'm trying to see if I like this or not. I almost went long. What time is it? 9:53. What's the flow looking like? The Mag 7, the SPY. Okay. I like this higher low between 9:51 and 9:45. So when you have a higher low, that tells you on a relative basis that the bulls are getting more aggressive or the bears are getting less aggressive or some sort of combination between the two. But the fact that we stopped at a higher level than we did before, something could have shifted, but I am a little bit concerned about what I'm seeing in NVIDIA, which is apparently in a free fall at the moment. If I didn't see that on NVIDIA, if NVIDIA was showing strength, I think I would have gone long there. Icarus did fire, but obviously I did not take the signal. But the rest of the Mag 7 is showing a little bit of strength. 5 minute is trying to recover, 10 minutes trying to recover, 30 minutes still needs to break out of 60. Okay. Interesting. 5 minute is bearish, 10 minute is bearish. 30-minute is also bearish. Are we just going for that upside gap fill? Oh, brother. Nvidia is getting its fucking teeth kicked in right now, team. Getting its teeth absolutely kicked in. It's getting its teeth kicked in, you hear? I still haven't done anything. You would hear the audio. It would say like order filled or order placed or whatever. I'm still... I would have taken this, like I said, somewhere between 952 and 954. Nvidia is maybe stop puking. Maybe. I'm really watching this over here. I have the options flow also up. What are you doing to me, Nvidia? What in tarnation? I guess I could take it. I might front run the risk of Icarus and try to minimize it even more just because things seem a little bit dubious at the moment. I'm not fully trusting what I'm seeing here. We're just evidently range bound. I suppose you could watch this structure that we're kind of testing the bottom side of. This is what's freaking me out. Like I said, if Nvidia was holding stronger, I would have probably taken this break at 952 or maybe 954. Somewhere in there, I probably would have gone long. Icarus did fire, but Icarus is not also examining the weakness of the largest stock in the world, which also happens to be a very tech-heavy barometer for AI trade. So that's why I ended up skipping that particular Icarus signal. Oh my God, AMC, it's the worst stock ever. I don't know how you're going to define worst stock. I mean, there was a huge opportunity in 21, 22 to go long, a huge opportunity in 22, 23 to go short. So there was, it depends on how if you're just judging it off of its performance, yeah, like a 99% off is pretty bad. But in terms of tradable opportunity, there's actually a lot of tradable opportunity. Huge moves to the upside, huge moves to the downside. So for active traders, it was good. The issue with AMC is people weren't being proper active traders. They learned one thing and then they're like, cool, I'm going to buy it and it's going to squeeze to billions of dollars and I'm just never going to get out. And they never set their stop to break even. They never took profits. They didn't learn how to read short interest information. So I get the sentiment of what you're saying. It was a stock that got so many people excited and now it's done poorly. But at a certain point, that's on them. I know there were many voices telling you to never get out and it has to work. And then there were other dissenting voices, such as myself, saying, hey, move your stop to break even, ride the trend as long as you can. And then when it got really bad and there was endless dilution, I called out for the fact that it was going to be the demise of the company. And look at it now. So I understand, like, I can't fully blame people individually, even though those are obviously the buyers and the sellers themselves. Because I know a lot of them were novice and new to the market. But honestly, the most run-of-the-mill, rudimentary risk management of like, hey, you're up a lot, move your stop to break even, don't let it cost you any money. Like, people just were not following that. But speaking of small cap, IWM is having a very good day. Tesla is making a little bit of a move back right now. Google is getting hit. Nvidia is getting hit. Microsoft trying to put in a higher low. Amazon's climbing up. Apple sucks ass. Palantir is getting hit today. It's actually break even though relative to yesterday. Meta took a hit and now it's kind of going sideways. Broadcom, dude, tech is getting hit right now. Mag 7 is trying to go flat. There was a clear hit, a lot of call selling that seemingly stopped around the first 15 minutes. Since then, no real trend. So sell, flat. S&P 500 kind of a similar story. It got hit and it's going flat. There was a nice pickup from 945 to 954, but as of this moment, just no follow through. So I'm still waiting for this upside gap fill on the S&P 500. That play is still very active. Other than that, though, we are seeing some blood in the streets. Is anything in the world of tech doing well right now? Because all the tech plays that I'm looking at are kind of getting their teeth kicked in. Trey got us all. Well, if you watch 5 seconds of Trey and think that he was the intellectual titan of the stock market, that is also on you. As a grown adult, as a person who is of legal age to trade equities, if you are of that age or higher in age, and you watch that video and you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about, that's on you. 55-45, not looking for 50-50 on that shooting star. Well, we're only 30 minutes into the day, and we haven't even gone below 6,900. Like, thus far today, we've actually kind of done nothing in the S&P 500. The Nasdaq's taking a bit of a larger hit because a lot of people are selling calls. But with respect to the shooting star thing, we haven't broken down yet. Granted, we haven't broken out either. Like, we're just kind of awkwardly consolidating. This thus far on the day, and I fully admit it, anything can change at any given point. But thus far on the day, we've kind of done nothing. We've double topped, and now we're trying to figure out are we sweeping low or are we going to double bottom? But we have pretty much a double top here. We're just waiting. Like, to me, this obviously NVIDIA is getting clocked, which is hurting the Qs, but the SPY itself, we went up, we went down, we went up, and now maybe it's taking a hit. Momentum is maybe breaking down right here. It's definitely red on the NASDAQ. Definitely red on the NASDAQ. Oh, this bar just started. I don't want to use that. I guess I'll use this. We'll use that. What about over here? I guess we could use that as a reversal. So unlike yesterday, the tech sector was stronger and the S&P 500 was weaker due to the JOLTS job reports hurting the financial sector. Today's the inverse. The SPY is actually trying to hold, and it's uniquely tech that's taking a hit, probably being smashed by NVIDIA. I will say Trey found the trade, but definitely led people on trying to hold it. You think Trey found the AMC trade? Okay. I mean, I guess you're entitled to your opinion, even if it's 100% wrong. Trey found the trade. Yeah. I guess that's a little bit of revisionist history if you want. But sure, have at it, dude. It definitely isn't as if there was a Reddit page with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people talking about plays related to GameStop, and AMC was one of them. But yeah, sure. I would believe you if I wanted to believe something that was just so provably inaccurate. Literally a Reddit page of hundreds of thousands of people turning into millions following Keith Gill, Roaring Kitty on GameStop, and then they started talking about similar plays. But Roaring Kitty found it? No, he found GameStop. And he was in it 2 years before it even happened, before it started to move. That's why it became like such a thing, because for a long time on the Reddit page, he was getting dogged on. They're like, dude, you're the dumbest person ever. Why would you do this? And like I said, it was about 1.5 to 2 years that he was posting his GameStop position, his analysis, and kind of everything related to that. And then when it started to work, everyone's like, dude, we've been like making fun of this guy. I would give credit to Roaring Kitty before Trey. Well, once again, Roaring Kitty had nothing to do with AMC. Roaring Kitty had everything to do with GameStop, GME. That's what he was in. He never touched or spoke about AMC. But because it was such a viral moment within the Wall Street Bets subreddit, other people who missed out on GameStop started to search for other highly shorted companies. And at that time, the nominal share price of AMC was very cheap, as were other ones, Kohrs, BB, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. And then people started just to talk more and more about AMC. The only thing Trey found is Texas Roadhouse. Well, now you're just trying to hurt my feelings. You know I'm Texas Roadhouse, like, through and through. A Texas Roadhouse diehard. And you're saying that's just hurtful. Would you pay for a TPT reset or 5 test accounts with code Goonie? I would never do the reset. The resets over there are comically expensive, especially if you already have the pro account. I don't know if you're talking about the eval or the pro, but I would definitively never, ever, ever be getting the pro account reset. Maybe with the eval, but like if you use the code, especially with 40% off, they're like the same price. So I always just reset it, but that's just me. But I would never reset the pro account. I would retake the eval. Trey's a waiter at Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, I saw a video of him counting his tips or something. I kind of feel bad for him. I mean, he just surrounded himself by the worst people who made him. I don't know if they made him. Maybe that's not the right terminology, but they kind of allowed him to make the fucking worst decisions ever. Most of us both follow Trey when we were started trading, but I followed the chart and so my AMC had a pretty decent value. That's what you should have done. And guess what? That's what I always pitched. I always was the person. We're about to get that upside gap fill right here. Boom, just hit it. Almost on SPX. We have to hit 6919.20. We almost got there. So SPY got its upside gap fill. SPX didn't. There's a slight deviation there. But that's what I always pitch. I said, hey, folks, like this idea of price targets and whatnot it's always so mathematically stupid in the world of a squeeze. And if you ever end up playing a squeeze in the future, please remember, anyone predicting a target of like, this is where it's going to squeeze to, they literally don't understand the math of it. They don't. What you need to do is just be a trend following trader. Get in your trade when it goes whatever, a decent amount in your favor, set your stop to break even, and do your best to follow the trend. Your goal is not to top tick. It's to get the meat of the move. When the trend starts to break down, however you define it, you take your profits and you move on with your life. There's no squeeze play that squeezes and holds there. It's a ball being thrown up. It goes up and it comes down. Fundamentals win out. Gravity wins out. And that's what a lot of the members who were drinking too much of the Kool-Aid in that community and GameStop don't understand. They deeply do not understand the fact that when squeezes happen, and they do happen, the price doesn't stay at the elevated level. It comes back to reality, and that's what's going on with AMC. It's coming back to reality. AMC, from a business model, is a dog shit company. Why is it trading at a 99% discount from the high? Because of that. That's why, because it's a dog shit company. That doesn't mean it's not an active trade where you like, of course you can make money on it. Many people made a lot of money on it, but they didn't do it from investing. They did it from actively trading. I do explicitly remember you, Matt, during the hype of AMC, pleading people to take their money if it was life altering amount. You were always against people holding for a certain value. Yeah. And surprise, surprise, why am I the only person from that particular saga or from that particular chapter who still has a trading career? The only one doing it. The only one doing it at size, the only one doing it consistently making money. It's because from the get-go, I was transparent about it. Like, I'll fully admit that there were times myself, I got hyped up because remember, my money was on the line too. And there were times where I was making a huge amount of money. So did emotions come into play? Of course they did. I'm not a robot. Like, I was stoked when I was making money. I was upset when I was losing money. So I'm not saying that I approached it as like this emotionless robot, but in terms of like the actual opinions and advice being given, I would put what I said against what anyone else said at any point. And obviously, as we're looking back in history, your boy was spot on. Pepper Ridge Farms. Fuck. All right, VWAP, if you're playing NQ, it's currently trading at 675. VWAP is 708. I think 700, 705 is a good target if you're taking that. I was very close to going long at 618, and now I'm like very, very much kicking myself. Maybe the market will give me an opportunity to enter on this. I'm watching a little bit of this trend line breakout. The Mag 7 picking up with a vengeance ever since 1004. S&P 500 picking up since 1003. So we're getting that classic 10 a.m. reversal. 10 a.m. reversal.
Order submitted.
Right.
Order filled.
What was this filled at?
Order submitted.
All right, I'm trading that trade. I'm long at 81 or 80 or something. That's just on the smaller accounts just to get my scalp trade in. Those ones I'm not doing like the big swings or anything. Like I just try to see if I could get the quick 5 or 10 points, and I'm basically trying to play this one up to VWAP here. So that is not on the big accounts. That like I said, I'm long at 80.75, so 81, and I'm just trying to play that one up to VWAP. I'm not doing that on the big buffer accounts. I want to play that with a slightly different strategy today. So I was playing this just in case it goes to VWAP without me. At least I'll make some money. Woke up, bought an SPX 6900 0DT call at the touch, hopped on my bike to go to work, and sold it for more than I'm going to make at work today as an engineer. Dude, that's sick. Congrats. Congrats. I turned 6K into 25K in AMC in 2021. Yeah, get in, get out. That was the move. If you can, check out 4XDV movies at Regal Theaters. I just don't care about those. I really like movies. I'm not like an anti-movie thing. And maybe this is just because I'm in the state of New York. But, dude, the movie-going experience is painful. Like, the amount of people who just talk and talk and talk. And, like, they're just so rude and disruptive. And they take fucking phone calls. Like, I would love the movie-going experience. And I'm not even going to sit here and bitch and complain about $10 a popcorn, whatever. It's an experience. It's something to do. I'll get over that. I can't stand the other people. The other fucking people. You're not trading your PAs? What? I am trading. I feel like we're talking about different things. Oh, people asking questions they should know the answer to. I guess I should have had a New Year's resolution of not getting frustrated.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Honestly, Matt, you're the only one I still look at. I stopped looking at those other YouTubers. I think they have channels. I think they're just done, dude. I think they're done. They didn't really have much substance. And that's what happens. And hey, whatever. I wish them all the best. The one that I really have like an issue with in this particular world is Adam Aaron himself, the CEO. I think he's one of the biggest fucking scumbags. I think these other people, even though they were peddling incorrect information, I don't think they knew it was incorrect. I think they deeply believed it. So like, even though they were wrong, I don't really count it as like morally corrupted. I don't count it as malicious because they didn't know they were wrong. I deeply believe that Adam Aaron knows exactly what he was doing, and he was intentionally taking advantage of a naive investing base. Like I deeply believe that. 90s and the early 2000 movies were worth going to the theater for. These movies super suck and hard. They just stuck. Oh, I think they're still good movies. I mean, what did I see in the theater? I saw F1, the Apple movie with Brad Pitt. I found that to be very enjoyable. I'm not against it. I'm not some sort of like cinematic like snob. My bar for entertainment is incredibly low. I would go more often if just the average person had a bit more fucking reasonable respect in this world. I stayed for the Toby Keith music and the cat tarot cards. Dude, I got to find those. We got to break those back out. They were getting a little bit too powerful. They were getting a little bit too accurate, but maybe they've cooled off and I can start using them again. Old Toby Keith. Old TK. Here's a look at the Mag 7 flow. Nice uptick ever since 10:04. We're, as of now, seeing that strong 10 a.m. reversal. The question is it going to hold? 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute is testing. This is interesting. So granted, we have 15 minutes until this bar closes, but I've done quite a bit of research on 30-minute bar, like right here, this data on ES and NQ. When you get the reversal, that's one thing, but it comes much more powerful if on the next bar, the immediate following bar, if you break that previous bar's extreme. So it's very good for the market to close above this whole cloud, especially the 50 EMA, but it gets even better if the next bar pierces above the high. And then the NASDAQ has a lot of room to make up. It needs to get up to 42 to 56, and then basically all the way up to 783, which is possible. The 4 hour is struggling right here. Would love to see it above 685 because at least the 4 hour could be bouncing in 47. So, yeah, 40. Yeah, I basically it goes like this. If you're trading NQ, you want it to get above and hold above 700 flat, and then from there you're watching 740. So, I mean, that could be a good 40-point trade on an NQ contract. That's $800, and obviously you could have a bit more confidence in it if the S&P 500 is going. You could watch this Mag 7 flow. You could even look at the NASDAQ flow, same thing. Everything started to get a bit of a bounce at 10:03, but right now it's going a bit flat. Will there be follow through? I think so, but also that's just me guessing because I do want to remind you, remember, how many times have I told you guys about 25 today? We're currently trading at 22. 25 is still there. It's just resistance. We're coming up to a key level. I'm calling it out as a key level. There is no model in the world that is going to have better than 50-50 accuracy in predicting, do we break out or do we get rejected? Your job as a trader is just to identify these key levels. And that's literally where we're getting right now. We're popping up to it. Maybe we break, maybe we get rejected. Obviously, time will tell. Time will tell. We're going to be finding out real soon. Real soon. Here's a look at Bookmap. Let me zoom in. As you can see, oops, I'm a little, come on, let's update. Let's update here, Tonto. Okay, so VWAP is right here just above 700. It's like 706. It's this white horizontal line above my head. And then the point of control, which is where most volume's been traded at, like just the exact level, is down here at 80. So this is kind of an interesting transition zone between 80 and 706. So let's see if we can get above and hold above, or are we just going to dance around in here, or are we going to puke back out? It does look like there's a decent amount of buyers down here at 670. So I'm kind of watching that level. Kind of interesting, but really what I'm looking for is a test of VWAP, which once again is 706. 706. I want to see what the market does at VWAP. 706. Buyers there at 70, sellers at 700. We're running into these buyers here. We just took out those buyers at 670, getting a little bit of a bounce. Nothing too crazy, though. 52 is the recent low. More buyers coming in at 65. 721. I'm seeing important levels at 700, 720, and 740. So I'm curious if the NQ can show enough strength to get back above that level. I'm curious. What was that? 80. Interesting. That's a dip. 54 is an interesting risk. Oh, we're going to be finding out real soon, folks. Real soon. What was that? Where were those buyers? The buyers are at 65 right now. So some got taken out at 75. I don't know if they got fully filled or if we dropped a little bit to 65, but we're picking up. Some are at 700. I cannot stress this enough. VWAP at 706. Things are probably going to get
Order filled.
a little bit spicy. All right, the scalp trade just locked in, as you heard, 360, well, a little bit of slippage, but anywhere from 321 all the way up to 375. So that is my smaller account, my scalp account. When I say scalp, it's just because I don't have as much buffer, so I want to slowly and surely build them. So I'm not really going for swing plays because I don't want the unrealized drawdown and I don't want the realized high and the unrealized high to be that different. So I kind of just go for smaller scalp plays. So those are locked in. My goal is to do one trade a day, anywhere from $100 to $300. I did it. If I see another opportunity, I'll take advantage, but I like it because it's now just like a monkey off my shoulders. I've done the trade. I don't need to keep trading if I don't want to. So once again, the goal on these smaller accounts, when I say smaller, they all started at 50K. They're all the same size accounts. It's more so because these just have less buffer. So when I say smaller, I mean less buffer. Because they have less buffer, I'm just trying to be a little bit more conservative, a little bit more realistic with what I can and can't do, just because there's quite a bit of variance in the market. So because of that, I locked it in. If I see another opportunity, I'll take advantage, but we'll see how that plays out. I actually don't need that chart right now. That's because I was filming a video yesterday. Oh, speaking of filming a video, this is on Rumble. This is on YouTube. I do want to point out a brand new video dropped, December recap. Everything you've been taught about trading is a lie. In this video, I break down how the whole guru industry teaching you about active trading, especially in the sum-to-funded space, is completely full of shit. And I prove to you in this video, showing you all of my trading metrics, like my exact stats of how I do everything you're not supposed to do, and then yet still made $209,000 in the month of December and got $90,000 in payouts in the month of December. So like I said, it gets detailed. It's a 19-minute video, so make sure you have time, but that video is up, just posted. And for any of you who are attempting to grow your accounts and trade, I highly recommend watching it because I'm sharing how I grew my accounts as much as I did. So it is up on Rumble. It is up on the other YouTube channel. If you're looking for the other YouTube channel, it is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. And we are struggling at 700. I'm wondering if I want to move my stop up to break even right now, just in case there's a hard smack off of VWAP, but we haven't even really tested. Well, we haven't even really tested. I'm moving my stop up a little bit, but we haven't even really tested a 700 no less VWAP, which is now the high 705. I'm going to give it a little bit more room. I'm not moving my stop to break even quite yet. I'm long at 74. We're trading at 86. So I'm up 10 points. I could take the $200, but I want to give this a little bit of room. What I'm trying to be mindful of is right here. I'm trying to be mindful of this. This could be a rejection. I've called this level out 14 times to you today. I'm expecting on attempt one for it to not work because it's just that big of a positive gamma node. So I'm not surprised people are reacting to it. I'm just wondering, are we going to make a higher low? So basically I want 19, 18. I want this region to hold and to push. And if you rewind to the start of the show, like literally before the market opened, I was telling you what I thought the perfect trade of the day would be is a run up to 25, a small rejection, we put in the higher low, and on that spin up, I want to get on a position and see if I could play the breakout and the push to 40 to 50 to 60. I have no idea if that's what's going to happen today, but in my book, that would be like the A+ setup trade. That is, I'm letting you know, like I called it out before the market opened. I'm reminding you right now. I told you in here, I wanted that push to 25. Why 25? Big positive gamma node. I'm expecting, I didn't necessarily want a rejection. I wanted I'm expecting a shallow rejection. And on the shallow rejection, I want it to serve as the higher low. And on that push higher, as it starts to curl up, you can take that long position. You risk the recent low as keeping your risk minimal. You're not risking all the way down here. You're ideally being more conservative. And then knock on wood, it gets that test breakout and we just rip all the way up. The NASDAQ is holding. It's trending up. The Mag 7 is slowly but surely trending up. The SPY was trending up, but at 1020, 1019, taking a little bit of a hit as people are locking in some of their calls, which you can't be that surprised about because we did hit that key level where, once again, we see big players are positioned. So patience, patience, patience. Patience, patience, patience. All right, we are testing VWAP as we speak. That is this white dash line at the top of your screen. We just tagged 704.75, something like that. 704.75, and like that's pretty much VWAP. VWAP is technically 705, but we were within a point of VWAP. So if we can generally, if we weren't near a psychological level, if we weren't near VWAP, I would already be moving the stop to break even. But like, I know this is so important and there's many traders out there reacting to it. And I could prove it to you by just literally showing you this. Here were the sell options. People ripped up into it, initially got smacked. People are trying to now sell at 710. I'm expecting a little bit of frothiness. So I'm still trying to give it a little bit of room, but I don't want to give it so much room that I'm taking on unnecessary risk. So if it can get going, I mean, I could risk 73. My long's at 74. I could risk 67. That's only 7 points of risk. That's not bad. I'm not honestly feeling that much pressure because in this particular 8-day payout cycle from Apex, which for those of you on Apex, you already know that to be able to get a payout, one of the requirements is trading at least 8 days. It doesn't have to be consecutive or anything like that, but you have to have at least have 8 separate trading days, 8 individual days where you've placed at least one trade. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is you have to at least also have 5 profitable days of at least $50. Now you can double dip out of those 8 days. You can double dip with the 5, or they can be like independent, like whatever, it doesn't matter. But for me, this is trading day number 7. So I still need to trade today, which I've already placed a trade. So that's good. But I've already had, out of my 7 days, 5 of them are already profitable. So I don't need to really worry about that. Of course, I want to make money. It would be crazy for me to say that I'm trading this not trying to make money. Of course, I'm trying to make money. But like, if I take a small win, a small loss, like it does, if I'm scratch on the day, like whatever, it's not really going to matter. Not going to really matter. I already have my trades in. Yep, smacked at VWAP. Come on. I'm trying to give it a second to breathe here. Trying to give it a second to breathe. What's interesting is my fill 74 is basically the 1 minute 50 EMA. So, and it's also this dip. So I have a little bit of protection there. I'm just looking for this pop. Really what I want to see is, oh, they pulled the orders. There were sell orders at 710, but someone pulled it back here at 1026. They got rid of them and it's lightened up. So the point of control is 80. We might be going to the point of control right now. I see buyers at 65 down here. You could probably see it better if I switch over here. Right here, 65. We have some sitting buy orders. So the POC, point of control, that's just the exact price that most volume's been transacted at that day. So most people are trading at 680. Oop, there's some buyers right there. Are we going to pop off of it? Nice. A little pop off of 90. Oh, and then hit through. All right. So we took out that 90 very quickly. Someone bought some decent size, I suppose. What was the volume? It was 63, which is decent. Okay. So now you have more people here at 80. I'm just kind of tracking these quote unquote larger players to see, are they being aggressive? So it looks like they got some fill at 90. Maybe it's the same player. Maybe it's a completely different player. So now you have someone trying to sell at 95. Are we going to take this? Oh, that person just got fucking Maduro'd in the middle of the night. Okay. On this break, we just took out VWAP. We took out that player at 710. I moved my stop to, let's move it to break even. All right. I am long at 74.50. My stop's at 74.75. So no matter what, I am good. Worst case scenario is I'm out for break even. No sweat off my back. My accounts with less buffer, I already got that scalp trade in, a nice $350 trade on all of those. So that's great. 5 there, 3 more, 8 times 3. We're looking pretty good. About 2.5K roughly 2.4K, somewhere in that realm. So $2,000+ trade there, already locked in, secured, no open position. And then on my other accounts, the worst case situation is I'm paying for my commissions. So we'll see how it goes. The reason I did it is because we're at a key level. I don't know if we're going to break out. I don't know if we're going to get, like, I just don't know. I just know it's a key level. If it breaks out, great. I'm going to be able to take advantage of it, and I'm going to ride it. If it gets smacked, okay. Like, it didn't cost me anything. I think in the world of trading, people really, really get the math of it wrong, thinking somehow there's an ability to predict what's about to happen. There's not an ability to predict about what's going to happen because you don't know what these guys are going to do. These are active trades hitting the tape right now. You don't know if they're going to buy. You don't know if they're going to sell. The buyers are going to be pushing up. The sellers are going to be pushing it down. You don't know if there's going to be limit orders, market orders. The price action after you place your trade is decided by other traders, retail traders, high frequency traders, hedge funds, insurance funds, everything in between, like fat finger mistakes, intentional trades, swing trades, day trades, everything in between. And that's just in one market. Don't forget, you have to also consider what's happening in the world of options. What are these guys doing? Are they buying calls? Are they selling calls? Are they rolling? Are they doing spreads, debit credit spreads, iron condors, flies, calendars? Like, you just don't know what you don't know. So all I can do is say, okay, this is a key level. And when I say key level, I can see that considerable money is positioned. Oh, I'm about to get tagged out. Considerable money is positioned there. So I have to just react accordingly. I hope it breaks out and it rips and I make a bunch of money. But obviously there's a non-zero chance that it just knocks me out. Non-zero chance that it knocks me out, which if that happens, dude, it happens. It's okay. It's okay. If your trading days are a mixture of profits and break evens, you're looking pretty good because the name of the game for good traders is to just not have cataclysmic losses. I'm trying to pass 20 Apex evals before trading my PAs. Right now, I have a bunch. Do you think it's best to have more than the required 2,600 buffer for the 50Ks before payouts? Of course. Of course, anyone with basic mathematical analysis knows that the more buffer you have, the easier it is to trade because you have more leeway. So if you're taking your buffer at the very first moment you can, well, inherently you're making it the most difficult on you. But it's not that easy because I'm also a fan of what if those payouts are what like brings you to break even financially for the bill that you put onto your credit card. So I think from a trading perspective, the more buffer, the better. But from a financial management perspective, yeah, maybe you do want to take that first one because then you just know it's a freebie try and you're taking all the pressure off you. So you're like, okay, from there, like if you're net profitable relative to your credit card bill for what you put on Apex and you already took that out, well, from there, it's a different way of moving your risk to zero. Instead of doing it on the chart, you're doing it in your own life. So something to consider. Market Soccer, what trade copy are you using? Actually, I'm talking with them right now about getting a discount code for all of you, like kind of like an affiliate deal discount code. So hopefully they get back to me today or tomorrow. So I'll put that in the description as soon as I find out. I'll let you know, but feel free to DM me if I like seemingly forget or something like that. I got upgraded to a real live account with Apex after only doing 2 payouts. They banned me from buying even any more evals. Does that ever happen to you because you're an affiliate? I've never heard of that. Are you sure they just stopped you from buying evals? They didn't upgrade you to a real live account. I think you're very much misunderstanding it. They probably said that you're in consideration for it, which is really just a fancy way for them to say that they don't want to sell you evals anymore. But I mean, maybe you can DM me a screenshot of it, but I think you're misunderstanding the email. I think you're actually greatly misunderstanding the email. Because I don't think they actually upgraded you to a real live account. The email probably said you were in consideration for it, which I've seen that email before. And basically it's just the verbiage that they use. I'm about to get tagged. It's the verbiage that they use when they stop you from buying evals. there, from what I know, so why has that not happened to me? Well, to be fair, that hasn't happened to me, but the whole stuff of show us your system, record yourself trading, doing all of that, and they do that to you after you get X amount of payouts. They've done that. I've had to record myself trading and prove that I am me. I've had to show them write my trading system down. I had to do that like a year or two ago, and it's a pain in the butt, and it seems weird. But once again, if you don't like the rules, you don't like the rules. As you can see, I got knocked out for break even. There was a little bit of slippage, and hey, if it recovers, I'll be in on it, but it just is what it is. In terms of when I majorly see people getting banned from buying evals, it's commonly because when they have multiple evals, they're gaming the system. Multiple evals or multiple PAs, more specifically PAs. And this is just from what I've seen. Maybe you're doing this, maybe you're not, but I would have a sneaky suspicion the people who are banned from buying evals are exactly doing this. They're trading all their PAs independently. And they're basically saying, okay, like on this one, I'll trade this one. On this one, I'll trade this one. Like I'll go long here, I'll go short here. And they're kind of just hoping that among all of their accounts, if they trade them independently, that at least one or two of them hit. They're not really trading them as a giant block. So that's like kind of the most common thing that I see when people are banned from buying evals. So for me, it hasn't happened because I trade mine all together. So right here on all of mine, I went long on at the same time. Some of them I got out early. The other ones I set to break even, but I wasn't going like long in some accounts and short in the other ones. I keep hearing from people that Apex will stop your payouts from 6 to 7 times unless you're an influencer. Any thoughts? I mean, it's people bitching and moaning. The point of it's not them stopping you. It's the trader stopping, because after 6 or 7, you can request all your money. So that's what they do. So like this is just a massive misunderstanding of how these things work. Like go read the FAQ. After 6, you have to do 6 payouts of whatever it is. So on a 50K account, you could take out 2K per payout. After that, you can take all the money. So that's what people do. They take all the money. That's not Apex stopping you from trading. That's the trader saying, great, I'll take all of my money because you can finally do like the max payout. So that's like what. This is another thing of social media, of just like not understanding the most basic things. It's not them stopping you. It's the trader saying, yes, give me all of my money. And if it's a big enough amount of money, they do block you from the platform. Like I'm not going to try to shy away from the fact that if you trade well enough on Apex, like if you're a person getting $1 million, $2 million or $3 million payout, they block you from the platform. But also, like, what do you expect them to do? The casinos do the same thing. If you win enough at a casino, you are blocked from that casino. It is a private business, and in America, you do not have to offer business to every single person on this planet. You get to pick who your clientele is. So if that happens to you, it means you kind of did something right. It means you made enough money somewhere in that particular instance that, cool, you now have a decent amount of money and either go trade your own account, or guess what? I actually think one of the biggest things right now about the rise of sim-to-funded trading is there's so much competition and there's so many firms that if you take one firm for so much money, similar to a casino, you can just go to another one. Like it's not like Apex is the only like player in town. If you take Apex for money, which is what I'm attempting to do, then okay, maybe I get banned, maybe I don't. I don't know where the line in the sand is for me. Then from there, I just move on to another one, and I'm already using other ones. Like right here, I'm using FFN. I use Take Profit Trader. I've tried Tradeify in the past. I'm thinking about Funded Next. I see a lot of people talking about that. I'm thinking about Lucid Trading. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about that. Like, it's okay. Like, whatever. Hey, Matt, have you ever gotten dies for violating the 5-to-1 risk reward ratio? Also, can you explain how this works? No, I've broken other rules. The 30% consistency is the biggest one that I break, where actually no. The drawdown, the 30% drawdown. But to explain the 5-to-1 risk to reward, I mean, it's pretty simple. If they find that your trades, if you have your stop and your profit, and your stop is more than 5x your profit, and you're doing that consistently, they're going to deny your payout, but they don't ban your accounts, and they don't even take your money away. They just say trade another 8 days and do it without doing like what you were doing. But I mean, what do you mean explain it? Like if you understand the concept of 5 to 1, you can't have a worse risk reward consistently than 5 to 1. Do you trade micros? No. Holy moly. I just realized trades by Matt is different than day trading with Matt. He even copied his screen format. I think the day trading with Matt is that Trader's Paradise guy, like the rocket scooter guy. And I'm telling you this, he is a fucking scumbag, a grade A scam artist scumbag. I have nothing but the worst opinion on that absolute scumbag. But trades by Matt, I actually like, and I wish him luck, and I hope he does well. I'm talking about, what was it? Once again, it's slightly different. And why did he do this? Because day trades by Matt, he blew out a bunch of lawyers' money, and then he tried to get a name similar to someone else. So all of the bad videos about him got buried deep in the search algorithm because, once again, the other name, and I know it's close right here, Trades by Matt, he had a better social media presence. So he basically leached off that. So the bad videos got like hidden. But he's a fucking scumbag, an absolute fucking scumbag. Probably one of the worst people in the whole sim to funded ecosystem. But to be clear here, the names are careful, or they're very similar. So just to be careful, I am not talking about trades by Matt. I'm talking about day trading with Matt, who's like the rocket scooter guy, which by the way, that platform is also fucking dog shit.
Order filled.
But
Order submitted.
He's such a fucking dweeb. He's such a fucking loser. Do you have a channel called Danny Go? No. Never heard of Danny Go. Hey, that wasn't a bad trade. So if I scalp for like $50 on one trade, then take a 300 loss on the next one, that wouldn't violate it unless I get... No. It's not comparing trade to trade. It's that one individual trade. In one trade, do you commonly have, like in the next trade, you might have larger risk reward. You might be going for $1,000, risking $2,000. The next trade, you might be going for $10, risking $40. It's only within that trade. Like in that trade, is your profit like less than 1/5 of what your risk was on that trade? It's not comparing trade to trade to trade. It's comparing the trade to itself. I mean, dude, it's all in the FAQ. And also, if you want more of a well-defined breakdown, well, la-ti-da, team, right here. Actually, how do you go to popular? My most popular video on this channel, Apex Rules Explained. In this video, 7 months ago, Apex Rules Explained. I go through all the major rules on Apex and the confusion, and I give examples of each one. But like I said, if you go to the channel, it's pinned to the top of chat on Rumble. You can search it as well. It's literally the exact same title. But Apex Trader Rules Fully Explained. This is like your 10-minute. It's a very quick video, very like in-depth breakdown of all the major rules and the confusion related to those rules. What the fuck was that? Hey, what in the hay was that? I liked it better at first, but we once again had an issue at 700. Come on, let's get going. Let's get partying. We're really dialed in. Just so you guys know, I have up the 100 tick. I never trade on this. I don't even do strategy on it. It's, if anything, it's just for stream so we can see more action and more development, just because there's more bars. There's going to be a bar every single 100 ticks, which is generally even faster than the minute chart. Generally, it's even faster than the 30-second chart. So just because I put this up on the screen, I don't want anyone to think I'm using this time frame to trade. It's way too fast. It's way too short term. I just like it because it gives us all something to look at. Matt, your older doppelganger twin is Ian Bremmer on CNBC. Interesting. I usually get Brad Pitt or Jacob Elordi as my doppelganger twin. You think I look like this guy? Hang on. Usually I'm getting Jacob Elordi these days. But I mean, I guess if this is the first time I'm getting Ian Bremmer, but commonly they're like, is that Jacob Elordi? Commonly. He's just the difference where people know I'm not Jacob and Jacob isn't me is because he's slightly taller. Like he has like maybe half an inch on me. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", and I'm barely 5'10". Who is Danny Go? I do actually kind of see this one. That's actually kind of funny. I don't know what this guy is, though. I'm trying to show a bigger picture so you guys can see it, like a higher quality picture. I do kind of actually see this one. Yeah. Who is he? Does he do like children's shows or something? Who is this guy? I get that. And then who is that random rapper that people say I look like? That was a while ago. That was an inside channel joke from a long time ago, and now I kind of forget. Does anyone remember that? Do any of the OGs in here remember? What the fuck was it? A rapper. I'm losing my mind. Why can I not remember this? Someone in here has to recall it. No, it wasn't Macklemore. It wasn't G-Eazy. It wasn't a white rapper. Which is interesting conceptually. What was it? This was a joke. Diddy. It wasn't Baby. It was Baby something. Baby 50 Cent. No, I'm not big enough. Not Bad Bunny. Flavor Flav. Diddy. You're really trying to push the Da Baby. It was that. Da Baby. Which, you know, I see a lot of similarities. I think I'm just putting it this way, that if you no one's ever seen DaBaby and Matt Kohrs in the same room at the same time. I'm just throwing that out there. You guys ever notice how his concerts are never scheduled during our show? I'm just pointing it out. Something to note. Something of interest. All right. Now that we've been thoroughly distracted by the market, but I guess to be fair, the market hasn't really fucking moved at all. Oh, do I just want to cut this for a small, reasonable, manageable loss? Or do I want to be pig-headed and assume that it's going to break in my favor? We got clearly schmackled at not only VWAP, but that psychological level of 700. Oh, obviously, this seemingly doesn't matter at the moment. What time is it? It is 10:45, excuse me. Excuse me. So the SPY broke upward. The Qs... dude, we are getting a clear mismatch today. Remember how I told you about the 30-minute bar breakout of how important it was to close above? Great, but we never broke above. Remember that. The odds of this reversal being a reversal increase greatly if we can actually get above Currently, the intraday high at 6966, which today happens to align with that positive gamma node that we've talked so much about at 925, which, yes, is still there. It looks a little bit smaller just because we're farther away from it. Gamma increases if it's closer to being at the money. So as we get up to that level, if we get back up to that level, then it will be probably the biggest positive gamma node at that moment in time. So you have to look at the size of the positioning and also the distance from the current price. And also time till expiration matters, but those are all expiring today. So that's kind of held constant for all of them. You be slapping folks like the baby? Can't comment on that. Can't comment on that. Lawyers have advised me to not comment on ongoing slap accusations. The bigwig lawyers. The old bigwig lawyers. I actually didn't know he slapped people. Did they deserve to get slapped? I don't think inherently slapping someone is bad. Matt's doppelganger is Ryan from The Office. I've heard that before as well. I'd say Ryan from The Office and DaBaby are the common most two. And then from there, I would say Brad Pitt and Jacob Elordi are the next tranche of two. Just in, Jim Cramer tells investors to avoid buying stocks. Dude, this market is about to rocket. Did he actually say that? Because if so, I think he might have saved us. If Kramer legit said that, he might have saved this market. Steve from Blues Clues. You know, Steve was the man. Steve was the fucking man. Mags, this is a bit weird. So price is going down in the NASDAQ, but Mag 7 is actually now like still showing life. The NASDAQ itself is going flat. Mag 7 is popping here. And S&P 500, oh, we have some profit take. Yeah, look at that. Some call selling. So once again, people reacting to the exact level we've been talking about all day, 25. I do think we're going to test it again. I think it's just a matter of patience, honestly. I think it's a matter of patience. But it might be a painful trip for that patience. Yeah, the Qs. Oh, brother. Okay, we don't need that on NVIDIA. Tesla's holding. All right, I'm watching these recent swing lows. It seems like the Qs are pretty close to testing it. So let's see if it's a bounce, like a double bottom, a fake out breakdown, a real breakdown. So on QQQ, I'm watching 619.12. On SPY, I'm watching 688.72. That is the higher low that's currently in. Obviously, 1035 relative to 10, 1035 relative to 10. I mean, on the SPY, you could even say 945. But I'm just wondering if this low is going to hold. Time to take out a third mortgage on the house and buy the market. Oh, happy Friday, Junior, and congrats to all in Google. Cheers. Shout out, Camille. Been here for a minute and you're crushing it. Happy to see it. Google is still looking good. It hit an all-time high today right at market open. I know you've been in that for a minute, so definitely respect. You've been calling that one out for a hot minute, and you deserve all those tendies that you are making. You've been calling that out for a hot minute now. VIX looks to be supporting this going back to 6925. I don't know if you can take that as a fair interpretation, because remember, the VIX is just the measure of the volatility on the SPX contract, the perfect theoretical one 30 days out. So it's looking at the vol 30 days out. Really, really tough to talk about VIX's influence on SPX price movement in the short term like that. I think that's a dangerous connection. SPX going up or down is, once again, only like if we go up or down, it's defined by, are people in net buying or are they in net selling? It's not like the price goes up because of the VIX. The VIX is computed off of what's happening in the SPX. I think you're getting the directional connection on that wrong, JMac. The VIX is literally just a mathematical computation off of the SPX. And you could look into it if you want, but like the TLDR is there's not always a contract that's going to expire in 30 days, but it's as if there were perfectly a theoretical one in 30 days. What's the vol of that? So I think that's seemingly a dangerous connection that you're making in your mind that I would not personally be making bets off of. But hey, you do you. It's your money, not mine. All right, S&P 500, it is still going down. In fact, we're kind of near the low of the day on the S&P 500. But the max, this is confusing me. What is happening here? Ever since 946, they're selling puts and they're really buying calls. Like that is some aggressive call buying. Wow. Look at this. Even with all of this call buying, the delta going up, the Mag 7 price is getting hit. Clear mismatch. Very, very evident mismatch. Evident mismatch. NVIDIA, I guess it might just literally be NVIDIA taking this hit. Google's going up. Google's currently the number 2 company, so at least it's this upward movement is somewhat negating this downward movement. Right here, I'm wondering if this is that little fake out breakdown. You see how we just swept that low? Maybe we pop. You see how I can show you better on the 1 minute. You see how we just swept this low? I'm curious if this is the real breakdown, the real McCoy or not. Could be an interesting play if we pop back above 635. Could be an interesting play if we pop back above 915. Obviously, your risk is the recent low. But let's see. Things are really calming down, getting quiet over here. Consumer expectation at 11 a.m. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's not important. I just don't care that much about it. Look at this delta, dude. So even as price is going down, the bulls are stepping in. They're happily buying longer dated calls on this. But then the SPX is getting rocked. Look at all that call selling and put buying. There's a clear mismatch right now. Clear mismatch. I'm curious which way it's going to break. I'm very, very curious which way this is going to break. NVIDIA's taking a hit, but Google's going up. Which way, Tonto? Oh, do I want to take this trade?
Order filled.
All right, we're going to take a stab at it, see what happens.
Order submitted.
I'm putting in, the second one was literally just me putting a stop just in case I'm horrifically wrong on this. Horrifically wrong on this. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Go, 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 go. I like that. I like that. How does the flow look on old Tesla? On old Tesla? Let me give it to you. Let me give it to you over here. Tesla. Good, actually, very strong. You know what? We'll go through these individually, but Tesla probably the strongest one I've seen today and in a while. AMD getting hit. Apple got hit going flat. Avago getting hit. Coinbase kind of popping. CoreWeave, I don't really care about CoreWeave. I kind of don't care about Robinhood. Microsoft got hit going flat. MSTR got hit, maybe picking up a little. Meta got hit trying to recover. Netflix, nothing. Nvidia, slightly down. Oracle got hit going flat. Palantir got hit going flat, curling up right now. Tesla, by far the strongest one. Google, also picking up. So Tesla and Google are seemingly trying to save us right now, folks. They're seemingly, whoa, I'm up a fucking $1,000. All right, brother. Well, let's set the break even on the new trade. So that the one that I got into is now a freebie trade because the stop's there. That second one that I added. And then the first one I added is all the way up here. So I'm going to trade these trades independently. So the two horizontal blue lines are where I got in. I got in one there. I got in one there. This stop is already at break even. So the second trade that I added, it's not costing me anything. This one's now a free play. My focus is to make the first one a free play, which is what I can do on the breakout of like 700 to 710. So I don't care about this trade right here. 638.50. I don't care about it. Out of sight, out of mind. It's not costing me anything. Of course, I could pivot it and move them both to break even right now at 55. I would have done that if the average was 49 because then I could be protected by 49 or by 50. So that's another way. You could treat them together as the average value at 55, or I could treat them independently. Let me just move this up because there's no reason for me to have that where it is. On the flip side, I could also just close it right now for $1,000, lock in 15K, lock in 2K, and be done with 17K on the day. It is 11 a.m. How do I want to handle it? Okay, I think I'm gonna do a couple phases here. On the push to 90 to 95, I'm gonna move the stop where it's at the average value of 56. So I'm protected on the account. On the break of 7 to 710, I'll then treat them independently. So I'm gonna do kind of like a multi-phase risk management here, and it's just two separate ways of keeping my risk at zero. If both stops are at 56, that's risk at zero. If one stops at break even and the other one's at break even, that's another way to do it at zero. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I might be doing two phases here. I don't like that hit. Oh, or do I? The more I talk about it, I'm thinking about putting them both to break even because then I just don't care. I just really wish this fill was at 49 because there might be buyers at 50. Let me check out Bookmap. See all these sellers right here at 90, 91. They're right at 90. Point of control is 80. Or I can guarantee myself some profit and move both of these to 63. And if they get hit, they get hit. And I could just move on with my life. That's another strategy because that's guaranteeing some profit. Oh, it's just how can we minimize the risk? What's the best way? Best way to minimize risk. 71. Whatever. So I'm going to leave the marks for I entered there, I entered there. The two blue horizontal lines are my distinct entries. For right now, I'm using the average fill just until this breakout. And then if we do get the breakout, I'm going to go to independent risk management. So that's my plan. It's just I don't want to go this much in my favor to then somehow lose money. I'd rather just get knocked out for break even. And to be completely honest with you, there is a high odds chance that this knocks me out for break even because we are not far away. And even a 50% retracement would knock me out. But just looking at where I am, like I don't want to really risk any. I just need to survive until tomorrow. I need to trade today, which I've already done. I need to trade tomorrow, and then I get another $30,000. So if I suppose I'm more so right now playing the game of Apex, of keeping the accounts alive. If I were like just trading my own account right now, I would honestly probably leave my risk on both of these all the way down here and just see if I could ride this all day. So to be fair, I'm really am front running the risk requirement of Icarus. I'm very much aggressively moving it before Icarus would tell me to, just because I'm attempting to play the game of Apex. So I just want to clarify between what I would be doing with my own account and no Apex rules versus the fact that these are Apex accounts and I have to consider that in my payout window. So just to clarify, Icarus by no means has told me to move my stop to break even here, and it wouldn't do that until the breakout somewhere between 95 and 710. It would happen up here. So I am front running it to the tune of 25, 35 points. I want to be very clear. If I were trading my own account, I would be not at break even. But once again, I'm just considering how shit is looking right now, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Now set it at 63 on this breakdown. I mean, I could set 1. How deep is this? It's coming for me. Is it going to turn here? I'm watching this down slope of highs. I want it to break this trend. See, we got this flag and then lower highs, lower lows. I hope it doesn't tag me out, but it seems like it's kind of coming close.
Order filled.
Yeah, knocked out for break even. That's frustrating, but protection is protection. If it bounces, I obviously can get back in. If it doesn't, whatever. I protected myself. It was kind of a random ass play anyway. But break even on the day. I did what I wanted to with these other accounts, slowly but surely growing them. And of course, just enough to tag me out. Oh, how do I want to do this?
Order filled. Order submitted.
All right. Now, instead of having 2, I'm just in for 1. So cutting my overall risk in half, obviously cutting my profit potential in half as well. But when I cut my risk in half, for me, like at this point, I've already traded today. If I place 1 trade tomorrow, as long as I don't blow out my accounts between the leftover portion of today's session and tomorrow's entire session, I'm good. Like all I have to do is trade tomorrow and not blow out my accounts between today and tomorrow. And I'm going to be A-okay. A-okay. Anyway, Google's popping. Here's a look at the Mag 7 looking strong. S&P 500 did pop and then looking very, very jagged. Guess what? Guess where it's having problems? Right away, 6925. I've been calling this out all day. That's going to be the breakout level. I wish it were a bit smooth. Like I said, I kind of wanted it to be a higher low, not a sweep low like that. That's not necessarily the easiest thing to play. And then it pops up like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections there. So we're just waiting. We're just waiting to see, is it a real rejection? Is it a higher low and then we take it out? Is it going to happen in the afternoon? Like, it's just patience. It's just patience. So just waiting on this 6925. It's going to be that very, very telling level. What is this? That's what we need. Patience, patience, patience. Google's looking good. Nvidia's looking weak. Actually, Tesla was looking pretty darn good as well in terms of the options flow. Price is looking somewhat fine, but Google and Tesla, with respect to options flow, looking the strongest. A lot of the other ones got hit at market open and are now like literally doing nothing. And this bar is about to end in a minute 30. Beyond taking out 6925, just to remind you guys, a big signal to me is we still have not taken out that high. Remember, this bar that broke the 30-minute bar that broke above and closed above this cloud, we have not taken out that high yet, which today is seemingly perfectly aligned with that 6925 level. So that is the level
Order
that
filled.
the bulls should be paying attention to. That is without a doubt the level that the bulls should be paying attention to. So keep that on your radar. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Now that's going bearish. Bullish, bullish, bearish, bullish. So it's mismatched. We're just waiting. That's looking strong. That's looking weak. It's choppy. Chop, 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 chop fest right now. So just wait for some sort of alignment. And if you decide to take a trade, regardless of alignment or not, it's just a game of keeping your risk as reasonable as possible. Folks, that's what I have for you right now. Things are slow, so we're going to call it a day. We'll be posting some content later on today, and then we're going to be streaming once again tomorrow morning, but we're starting early tomorrow because of the non-farm payrolls, unemployment report, average hourly earnings. So that stuff comes out at 8:30 a.m. ET, so we're going to be streaming early tomorrow. I hope to see you there. That's what I have for you now. I appreciate all the good vibes. A reminder that if you want a SIM funded account, check out FFN, check out TPT. You could use the code GOONIE, GOONIE, and you're going to get the best deal on both of those. And that's what I have for you now. So I will catch you guys on the flippity flip. I hope you make a buttload of money. Right now, things are kind of quiet. Maybe this afternoon is going to be a little bit more exciting, but we will find out. Like I said, best of luck. Peace.